Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day is going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm here for Paper Tray Ink today, and we're going to create a project using a few of the latest release items. This is the Winter Bench stamp set. This is a layering stamp set, but it's a simple layering stamp set, but it creates a real pretty bench. There's a coordinating die set too that will cut out that bench. And then there is mix and matchables and customizable elements to create a real fun items around or on the bench. There's also even a little sign that has sentiments that you could put in here. This reminds me of like a farmhouse kind of a theme. But we're going to be using some elements, not necessarily the bench, but some elements in this stamp set for our project. And then we're going to pair this stamp set with a brand new die set. This is called the Snowflake Banners. There's 3 banners in here. This is sized for an A2 size card, and then this would be for a 5x7, or you could use this for a landscape on a A2 size card too. And there's 2 of these that you can actually layer together. They look similar, but they're not. They layer together beautifully. We're going to be using this on our card project today. So today's card, we are going to start by die cutting out our banner. I'm going to use this one here, and I'm just going to use some white cardstock. I'm going to use a big piece. I'm going to trim this down so I can fit it in my die cut machine. Okay, and then while we're die cutting, I'm going to take some more white cardstock, and then using my Love to Layer scallop circle dies, I'm going to take the smallest and then the middle one, and I'm going to die cut out both of these with white cardstock too. My circles are die cut out, and so is my banner, which is just stunning. Look how pretty that is. All the detail in there is just gorgeous. Now I also, while I was die cutting, used one of my circle dies, and I die cut out a circle that was just a little bit larger. And I die cut that out with some Berry Sorbet cardstock. Okay, so we're going to put these off to the side. And before we do our stamping, I'm going to bring in another piece of cardstock. This is Berry Sorbet again, and it's a card front panel. I thought we would do a little bit of splattering, put a little snowflake in our background. So I'm bringing in an acrylic block, and I have some white distress ink. I'm just going to add a little bit to my acrylic block. I'm going to bring in my craft mat, and just using a paintbrush, I'm going to splatter on my background. Get to pick up some ink. And I think that's just the right amount of splatter. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. We'll set this off to the side, clean up my mess, and then we're going to do some stamping. Again, this is the Winter Bench stamp set, and I just love the farmhouse look of this. We're just going to use a few items in here. I like that you can create a little small Christmas tree in a pot. We're going to put the base of the tree on an acrylic block, and then we'll take the Christmas tree. I'll put that here too. And I also want to take the joy. We'll put this on the acrylic block along with, in the stamp set, we have this really pretty embellishment. We're going to take the little leaf piece and put that on the acrylic block too. And then there are some little dots or berries that will fit in the middle of that. We're going to add that to an acrylic block too. I picked out 4 inks to use today. We have Berry Sorbet, that matches our cardstock, of course. We have Ripe Avocado, we have Honey Nut, and we have Aqua Mist. We're going to start with our tree, and I'm going to use Aqua Mist with the tree here. We stamped it. And the detail in this is just amazing. You would not believe. You could actually see all the little pine needles in here. For my planter, I'm going to use Berry Sorbet, and I'm going to stamp that on my white cardstock as well. And then I have the Joy. The Joy we're going to stamp 4 times. I thought we would create a border with this, and I'm going to use my Honey Nut ink with the Joy, and I'm going to stamp it 4 times. Since it has that line, which is supposed to be standing on you have a shelf in the winter bench stamp set, and the Joy is meant to go on the shelf, but I'm going to create a border with that. We're going to switch it up a little bit. So I stamped 4 of those, and then with my ripe avocado ink, I'm going to use the little flourish here. But instead of stamping here, we're going to die cut all of these out. I'm going to stamp on this circle here. I'm going to stamp one to the left and one to the right. I just think that's so pretty. Like that. And then we'll take that little berry piece or the little dots, and I'm going to use, instead of using red or my Berry Sorbet, I'm going to use my Honey Nut, and we'll stamp a couple berries in here. Wonderful. And that's all the stamping that we're going to do. No layering today. We are going to do some die cutting though. So let's take the dies. And we will line these up. And I'm going to run these through my die cut machine. Everything is die cut. And now we get to assemble our card. I think my panel is just about dry. I want to take my panel. We're going to flip this around. I'm going to use my tape runner, and we're going to adhere this to our card base. Today's card's going to be a landscape style card. We will tack this down. And then we're going to take our banner. This will fit the width of our card base. I did put foam adhesive behind it already, so I'm just going to remove the release paper. And then I'm going to adhere this down the middle. Just think that's gorgeous. Now we have our circles, we have our die cut elements. First, I'm going to take this small circle, the one we stamped on. I'm going to take the Christmas tree, and we're going to put some foam adhesive behind it. I'm just using some small foam squares. And then I'll take the planter, and I'm not going to press down just yet. I'm going to play around with the placement. I think that's a good spot for it. We have a little bit of dimension with that tree. Okay, and then we're going to take this. I put adhesive on my Berry Sorbet cardstock, and then we are going to layer our smaller circle on it. And I love how the Berry Sorbet peeks out from behind that circle. And then we have this circle. I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive here. And we're going to layer this right in the center. And I love the detail on the edge of here. Okay, this is going to go directly here, but before we adhere it, I'm going to take our Joy. We're going to put adhesive behind it, and then I'm going to create a continuous pattern on the left and the right, connecting the bottom pieces like so, and we'll do the same thing to this side. Wonderful. After we're going to use the Joy as our sentiment, I'm going to go ahead and take this panel, and we're going to use our tape runner, add some adhesive just down the middle where the middle is going to hit the snowflake banner. We're going to place our tree right in the middle. And we could have probably got away with just 2 Joys, because you only see a little bit of the Joy peeking out. But I wasn't sure how big if we needed 2 or 4, so better be on the safe side. And then for some bells and whistles, I'm going to go in with some clear gems. And we're going to add a little sparkle to our tree that's in the planter, just using the small gems. Wonderful. And then last but not least, I want to add a little bit of dimension and shine to my planter. So to do that, I'm going to use glossy accents.